In this video, we're going to learn how to use dumb bombs in the F-15E Strike Eagle from Razbam.
Stingray is Town 6, you're cleared to engage.
Lead is rolling in, engaging south to north, left in, right out.
Alright guys, welcome aboard the F-15 Strike Eagle, and today we're going to take a look at setting up and employing our dumb bombs. So first of all, we're just going to pick a side. I'm going to choose the left side. We're going to go to the menu mode, choose armament, air to ground, and we can see that on board we have Mark 84, 6 Mark 82 airs, another Mark 84, some more Mark 82s, another 84. Alright, just going around real quick, we can see that this is our gun. It's set to high. We can change that to low, and we'll skip over the air to air. And basically what we're going to do is look at programming our weapon system. So the way to think about this is before we even take off, we're going to be setting up how we want to use our weapon system. All right, so right now we've got program 1, and we're going to go ahead and just pick our Mark 82 airs. Again, we have 12 of these total. We're going to go through and choose how we want to employ these weapons. So right now we've got the CIDP, which is essentially the constantly computed impact point. It's just called a different name. I can't even think of it off the top of my head, but it's essentially the same thing. You're going to get the little pipper and just point the pipper where you want and push the button. So we're going to select that. All right, next we have our release sequence options. So let's take a look at the bottom here. We've got one station, one per station really. We've got step, ripple single, and ripple multiple. So with the one per station, we're going to drop one per selected station simultaneously. So in this case, one from each of these selected stations will drop on this program. We look at step, one will be dropped with each press of the pickle button, and it's going to alternate. So essentially, if we push the button once, one will drop from here. If we push the button again, one will drop from here, and so on and so forth. Ripple single is going to allow us to drop a string of weapons for as long as the pickle button is pressed. And they'll be dropping alternating from each of the selected stations until we've reached the set quantity, and we'll take a look at that here in a moment. Ripple multiple works pretty much the same way, except one is going to drop from each of the stations. So instead of it being boom, 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 it's going to be both of these will drop on, then both these will drop on, and then that's dependent upon the interval, which we'll take a look at here right now. All right, so we're going to just choose ripple single, and we're going to choose our quantity. So you can see these little lines, they're drawn towards the number that it's changing. So I'm going to just change this to 10. So 10 of our 12 bombs should drop, and in our interval, it's not really in the documentation, but I believe this is supposed to be in feet. So we're just going to change this to 50 feet. So essentially what's happened is now we've got ripple singles. It's going to drop 10 of these to be spaced 50 feet apart. Last is our fusing options. So we've got nose, tail, and nose, tail. And as the documentation states, essentially because these are high drag or low drag type bombs, depending on how you fuse them, essentially anything with the tail in the selection will cause the drag chutes to open up. So if you don't want the drag chutes to open up, select nose. If you do want it to open up, just select something with tail. So in this case, we'll just select tail. All right, so now I'm going to go to program 2, and you can see that it wiped everything from there. So now let's just say that we want to set up dropping our Mark 84s, and we want to drop them in auto mode. So we've selected auto instead of that CDIP. And let's just say that we're going to drop with step, and we'll drop with nose. Now we want to go to program 3. We still had some bombs that we didn't use. We could reselect this. We could set this up to auto. We could drop these on step. We could do this nose as well. We could even go to program 4, and if we wanted to maybe have these drop on auto, ripple multiples like we had before. I think we had ripple multiples. But the point is, we can set up these bombs in different configurations depending on what we expect that the mission is going to entail. Because remember, even though we can be a cast platform, the F-15 is really meant for a like the name says, a strike, right? So an air interdiction type mission. So we're going to be hitting bridges and airfields and, you know, railroads and things like that. So being able to set up our weapon systems prior and understanding the nature of the target and the environment that we're going into is this is what this is allowing us to do. So we can see that there's 4 different programs we can cycle back through, and it's showing us what we had set up previously on all of those. All right, so now that we got that figured out, let's head on out to the range. We'll just drop some bombs. All right, so we're approaching our target area. Again, I've got program 1 established with our Mark 82s. I'll go ahead and bring the master arm on. Make sure that we're in air to ground mode. And we should be ready to go. So there we can see our CDIP we talked about before. And I'm not going to do anything fancy. We're just going to roll in here, press the pickle button, and see what happens. Alright, we're just going to line up on this runway. We got some targets out here. We'll just, again, just kind of see what happens. And I'm going to hold down the pickle and release. Alright, that seemed to work pretty well. I could see that they deployed, and there was definitely some interval dispersion on those bombs. So let's go to program 2, and this one we have set, once again, our CDIP. We've got 1 bomb per station, and we've got the nose fuse. Now, one thing you may or may not have noticed is that when I actually hit the pickle button, it's going to drop a designation point. So essentially, the aircraft is trying to point me back to where I just attacked. So I'm going to go over here on the right side and pull up my HSI, and you can see that we actually have a target point that popped up, and that happened when I pushed that pickle button. You can see up here as well, since we're still in the air to ground mode, I've got target 4.2. Okay, so my target, of course, is off there. It's 4.2 miles away to the right. So when I come back around, we're going to see that target diamond right where we essentially dropped our bombs before. So there it is. And we'll just roll in and drop a bomb on that same target area. And you're going to see, once again, when I hit the pickle button, another diamond is going to pop up right where that pickle button is at. So let's just drop it here on this hangar, or close to it if I can. Yeah, I'm just going to drop it there. Alright, so I'm a bad shot, but the point is still the same. I put the pipper on a spot, it dropped the diamond, the bomb dropped, and it hit pretty much where I was aiming. And it did drop all of the bombs, which is what it was supposed to do, drop 1 bomb per station of the selected stations. Alright, so let's take a look. Let's see if I still got program 3 set up. I have jumped into another airplane because I'm cheating. And I'm going to go ahead and select these. And let's select auto this time. We'll also select 1 per station. And we're going to set nose. So it should not deploy on us this time. So now the aircraft is going to want us to drop on that last target point. Now if we had our targeting pod up, we could of course move it around, designate a point on the ground, and we'll still get that same diamond, and we're still going to get the same steering information from the aircraft. I don't really care about what we're shooting right now. That's not really the point. The point is just to demonstrate how the auto works. So again, we've got 2 bombs set. 1 should drop from each station selected, and we are in the auto mode, and we've got the nose fusing. So I'm going to continue back around, and we should get targeting information for where we dropped that last set of bombs. And there it is. You can see it's lined up on that diamond. So again, all I'm going to do is get my steering cue there on the bomb drop line there. My indicator's coming down. So I'm going to release. And I've held down the button. All the bombs have dropped. And we can see we've got a time to impact of 1 second. Alright, so it's that easy. There's really not too much to think about. Probably the hardest part is just remembering as far as how many bombs are going to drop when you do the multiple ripple or the single ripple. And of course, just remembering that you're fusing. As long as you press nose, then it shouldn't deploy any drag. But if you press the nose to tail or tail, then it should deploy those drag chutes. So anyway, hopefully this is enough to get you guys started. Dropping bombs, putting warheads on foreheads. I appreciate you watching. We'll talk to you later.